Welcome to this fantastic mini-series Express Training. Today, Voice of Customer or VOC. The benefits of using Voice of the Customer is knowing in measurable terms what it is that your customer really wants so that you don't end up working on the wrong things. The purpose of Voice of the Customer is really to identify the critical requirements that are a measure of success of the work that you're delivering to your customer here. Usually if you've already completed your SIPOC, you've also defined who your customers are so that you can go directly to them and ask what it is that they need from you to be able to process their work next. Now, we have to be clear about the definition of customer in this context. The customer in this context is the receiver of the output of the work from you. Client is our genuine end client as a business. So we can refer to our customers also being as internal customers as well as our external clients. There are many ways to get good information about your customer needs, not just interviews or surveys. In fact, these are not always the best ways of getting good, measurable information from your customers. There are three primary tools to help you collect good customer information. First, internal and external data. Second, listening posts. Third, research methods. An example of internal and external data could be existing company information that you can get off the internet or benchmark studies. An example for listening posts can be such things as complaints or sales information, or even things like accounts payable information. Research methods can be interviews and surveys, or even things like focus groups. However, gathering voice of the customer is only the first step. To become really useful, it has to be translated into something that you can measure the performance against the performance of the process. This can be done by taking your voice of the customer, converting it into a measure, and then identifying a specific target. For example, the voice of the customer says too long. It can be measured in time, and the target that the customer might want may be less than 5 days. We have here an example of voice of the customer. You hear things such as payments wrong. They never get any information. To measure payments wrong, we can measure it in either its value or the number of errors that we get. When we hear comments like never get all of the information, then we can measure it in completeness. In terms of targets, for payments, for example, we might set a target of $0 or no payment errors. For missing information, we may be able to target it as a percentage in full. A great example of voice of the customer is Mercedes. About 5 years ago they wanted to break into America with their nice new shiny Mercedes that had over 200 gadgets on it. But when the clients came along, for some strange reason, the clients were not buying. And so back at head office they decided to investigate. Back in head office, Mercedes were having a fantastic time. Sales were up. However, across the water in New York, sales were not quite so good. And so they sent some project members to go and investigate. When they did their research, they realized that there was something extremely important missing for the American market. Bet you can guess what it is. Coffee holder. Although the car had 200 gadgets on it, it didn't have a coffee holder. And so the Americans were not buying. So they had the Mercedes fitted out with a coffee holder in every one, and soon they were selling Mercedes again. And that was today's express training on Voice of the Customer. Thank you very much for watching.